Guys, it's Asa. Hello. I'm going to be playing a game called PUBG. PUBG. I don't know. Okay. Since we're player unknowns background, I think player unknown background.
It was assumed that the creature was feeding on fat
Oh
deposits
no!
that had built up on the inside of the pipe.
Oh my God!
The creature still remains unidentified to this day.
Okay. That's creepy.
Wait, is that a video? Yeah. I'll go get it.
What is that creature thing?
A gorilla.
He has white, creepy eyes.
On February 25th, 2014, a nude male body washed ashore on a beach in England. The man was wearing only socks and one shoe, but the police made a strange discovery. A set of headphones
Why
were
is he
found
only
in the
wearing
man's
one
mouth,
shoe?
as well as a
New
rolled-up sock.
phone.
The white headphones were looped around the back of his sock and were
Hey
trailed
guys,
in his
my
mouth.
little sister has
A
the
number of items
phone
were
that
found nearby,
they said
including a
Tiffany is
jacket, a
on.
wallet, and a photo of a young
Go check
child.
that. It's fun.
The victim was identified
I
as
make videos on there too.
64-year-old Alan
With me.
Gill.
Oh yeah.
The child in the
Guys,
photo was
I'm
Alan
going
when he
to
was
make
2.
a face cam.
Alan did have surviving family. However, he was a
Get
loner,
to
so
love my
suicide was
videos.
considered a possibility.
Okay.
Alan had recently purchased a weighted training vest and ankle weights, which suggested that he may have been planning to drown himself. However, these weights were never found, and the unexplained injuries to Alan's chest and head meant foul play could not be ruled out. The day before his body was found, Alan had traveled from Waterbridge to Truro and was seen wandering through the area on CCTV footage. The most intriguing video showed him speaking
How do I
with
change
individuals at a
the
bus station,
ID?
but they were never identified. Alan was last
Or the name?
Purenporth on
Axel.
February 24th, 2014.
How do I change the
strangest
name?
detail from the CCTV
On what?
footage showed
PUBG.
Alan wearing a completely different jacket
You
than the
can't
one
change
found on the beach.
What?
Just keep it as
The
a hat.
jacket that he
Wait,
wore in
no,
the
I think I know how to
footage was
change
never
it.
recovered.
How?
The rest of his clothing and his bank
Hey, it's
credit
Axel,
cards are
guys.
also missing.
It's
No
Axel
one
right
knows
there.
what Alan was doing in Purenporth that night, or how his body ended up in the water.
Just copy it.
You guys make this movie.
I don't know. Okay, guys. My name's has to just be that. How do I play? Oh.
In 2009, Stephen Kosher quit his job in Salt Lake City and moved to St. George, Utah. After months of struggling to find a job, Stephen left St. George on December 12, 2009. The following day, he called 2 of his friends and claimed that he was in Las Vegas. Stephen never offered any explanation for his trip, but his family believes that he may have been looking for a job. These phone calls were the last time anyone ever heard from Stephen before he mysteriously vanished without a trace.
Okay, hi guys.
His abandoned car was located in a residential neighborhood in Henderson, Nevada, with wrapped Christmas presents that Stephen had purchased for his family in the back of the vehicle. Investigators eventually found this video of Stephen taken on December 14, 2009, from the camera at a residence in the Henderson neighborhood. The video shows Stephen parking his car, crossing the street, walking down the sidewalk, and then disappearing out of sight. This was the last confirmed sighting of him. It's unknown why Stephen parked his car in the upscale neighborhood, though it's been speculated that it could have been because it seemed like an unlikely place for him to become the victim of some kind of violent crime. His cell phone signal was picked up at various locations by a tower several miles away, but the signal died after 2 days. With his employment and financial difficulties, some people have speculated that Stephen may have staged his disappearance to start a new life. However, there has been no trace of him for about 6 years.
So let's go here. Am I in the storm?
The following video is from a surveillance camera taken in November of 2007 in Fresno, California. It was positioned to record the owner's front lawn and was set up because someone had tried stealing something from the owner's yard on a previous occasion. On the night the video was caught,
Axel, I'm making a video now.
In an unusual way. He got up and looked at his security monitor and saw the creatures about 2 to 3 feet tall moving across his lawn. He grabbed a camcorder and recorded the monitor screen. Local investigators presented the footage at a mutual UFO network conference. The video they shared also showed some footage of the owner and the front yard during the day. Since it's a video of a video, the quality isn't great. The TV show Fact or Faked investigated the video. The crew went to the home it was filmed at and tried recreating it with a few different experiments. In the end, they determined the video footage to be unexplainable. The end of the video also shows some footage of the creatures that are, by the way, referred to as the night crawlers, allegedly caught by someone else in Fresno a few years later.
Axel, I've just been like sprinting the whole entire time, and there's only 15 more people alive. I might win this.
The TV show Paranormal Borderline received an anonymous letter in the mail providing enough information to warrant further investigation. It told the story of a worker who appeared to have been abducted by aliens. The letter was accompanied by a tape which allegedly shows the abduction. There are 4 black and white pictures. On the top right quadrant, the worker walks right to left through a gate.
Axel, if I hide in the bushes, I'll be camouflaged.
The tape continued to run normally until almost 2 hours later. Then the victim reappears in a second flash of light in a fetal position. Then moments later, now crouching, he vomits and seconds later staggers right to left out of frame. According to the author of the letter, the footage was copied from a surveillance system. He reports that soon after the incident, the victim quit his job and moved away. Hired experts couldn't make any valid or conclusions, and there are still no explanations for the flashes, missing time, or just what happened to the worker on that night.
There. What? Oh. What?
I'm currently a freshman in college. I came home this past week for a funeral, but let's backtrack a little. My senior year in high school,
I'm
I was
gonna
in
play
the
a different
library
game.
study hall doing some computer science work
Nothing.
on the computer, since my laptop at home didn't have JCreator on it. Anyways, this boy who was in my class sat next to me, since those 2 computers were the only ones with JCreator.
I think I'm gonna play this game. Hold on. Need to fight. Unreleased. Alright, guys. Okay. Grapefruit.
If you're like most people, you've probably at one point had the experience of your alarm clock becoming a part of your dream before waking up. Or perhaps had some other sound, like the TV you left on before falling asleep, influence your dreams. But what would happen if reality influenced your dreams during a nightmare? Well, it would probably only add to the horror. While all the stories on this list are creepy, some are more unexplainable than others. Here are 5 first-hand stories of people whose nightmares have strangely read into reality. Number 5. This story was submitted to me by Earl Feinhardt. It was a long and stressful day, so falling asleep was easy. I think a dream started to fade in around halfway through the night. It wasn't a pleasant dream. I'll try to describe it the best I could. I was in the woods outside of a giant castle.
I won.
Everything was black except for the night sky, which had a hint of blue. I remember this horrifying sound coming from inside the castle, as if something were calling me. It's downright disturbing to think about it even now. The sound was some kind of demonic, hellish voice, and it echoed through the woods. I somehow knew it was coming from inside the castle, and yet it sounded as if the source of the sound was a few hundred feet away from me. This was not a lucid dream. I had no conscious control over myself, so I made my way to the castle. There were no doors. It was as if the inside of this castle was also the outside. I don't know how else to describe it.
I'll play.
The sound of the demonic voice was no doubt getting louder, and as I walked the open corridors of the castle, the halls started to become more narrow, and I felt myself banging into the walls as I dragged myself along. The sounds of the screaming were coming from beyond the door on my left. I entered, and I swear to God, there was nothing but blackness in the room. And yet, I still felt myself moving closer to the sound. I banged into something, and that's when I woke up, hunched over my 4-year-old son's bed, who was crying and horrified. He had been screaming because he also had a nightmare, and I scared him even more, as he described the way I walked in and then stopped in front of his bed, slowly lowering myself closer to him. Number 4. This story was posted by a forum user named Joey Mancuso. I just want to point out before sharing my story that I am an atheist and do not believe in any kinds of miracles, gods, or anything of that sort. However, I still don't know how to explain this. I was having a really disturbing dream. It seemed to be Halloween night, and I was with my friends trick-or-treating. We hit 2 houses. The first one was normal from what I remember. When we rang the doorbell to a second house, the door opened on its own into a darkish blue living room. I stepped inside, and my friends were gone at this point. I looked around the room I was in. The door I had just entered from no longer existed. In fact, the whole room seemed to have rapidly changed appearance, a common occurrence in dreams. After exploring the house, I came to a room upstairs, even though I didn't remember climbing the stairs. On the wall I was facing was a giant framed picture. I mean, at least 10 meters long and 20 meters wide. The picture was of my 30-year-old cousin, who I hadn't seen in years. Her eyes were enlarged to an uncomfortable amount, and they followed me everywhere I went. The giant portrait suddenly cracked, and the rusty, scratchy, ear-piercing sound of the giant nails holding the portrait on the wall painfully filled my eardrums. The portrait started to fall off the wall, and I watched, completely frozen, as it fell on top of me.
What?
I was awake.
Okay.
Started off with
Okay,
in my
guys.
house reading a newspaper. Then the lights went out, and the dream started to focus on my trying to find out why the power was cut. The fuse box was apparently in the basement in this dream, which is, by the way, inaccurate to real life. I went down to the basement in the and opened up the fuse box. There was a sticky note inside, saying, "Go back upstairs to the red room." While still in the basement, I started to hear a moaning type sound coming from the boiler room / laundry room. My brain knew my childhood fears, and it seemed to be taking advantage of them in this nightmare. The door to the boiler room cracked open, and something poked its head out to look at me. I left the basement after seeing this, following the sticky note's orders. I went upstairs to the second floor of the house, and there was a glowing red door at the end of the hall, a door that doesn't actually exist in my real house. Now, there was a disturbing echoing sound coming from beyond the door, and as I got closer, it became more clear that it was a voice chanting the number 3. I opened the door, and there was just a chair in the room, facing the wall across from me. The room was as red as the glow that had been illuminating through the door. The voice chanting 314 was clearer now. It was an extremely creepy voice, almost feeling like it was speaking into my ear. I woke up abruptly, with my heart beating somewhat quickly. I grabbed my iPhone that was sitting on the desk next to me to check the time. It was 3:14 a.m. You may think I just saw a clock while half awake or something, but I have no digital clocks in my room. The only clock would be the one on my iPhone that was in the same position as I had left it before going to bed. To this day, I have no idea how my dream knew it was 3:14, or if there was supposed to be some kind of meaning behind it. Number 2. This one was from an Ask Reddit post.
No.
It was a night during the summer 2015. I was
Okay,
high out of my
guys.
mind after a party